From Boston University and BU Alumni Relations, welcome to Proud to BU Around the World. I'm your host, Jeff Murphy, and this season we're taking the podcast on the road to meet some of our most interesting and accomplished alumni navigating life and careers in cities across the globe. Today it's my pleasure to welcome guest host Yuna Lee to the podcast. Yuna and I work together in BU Alumni Relations, where she oversees our efforts to keep alumni in Asia connected to BU and to each other. She's also a fellow Terrier, having earned her MBA from Questrom in 2014. Yuna, thanks so much for being part of Proud to BU. Take it away.
Thank you, Jeff. Today's guest is Phonpimol Pathomsak, Senior Vice President at Kasikornbank, one of the largest commercial banks in Thailand. Phonpimol graduated from the Questrom School of Business in 1996. After leaving BU, Phonpimol moved from Boston to Bangkok, where she launched her career in finance. Her resume includes high-level positions at industry giants like Citi, GE Capital, and Bank of China. Phonpimol is also a volunteer leader within the BU community in Thailand, a community comprised of over 1,100 terriers. In our conversation, Phonpimol explores the importance of both the hard and soft skills she learned as a student at BU. She also provides a preview of the upcoming Asian Alumni Business Forum, which will be hosted in Bangkok, Thailand on November 1st till 3rd, 2019. So, Phonpimol, what did you want to be when you grew up? Were there any early warning signs that you might end up in finance?
Of course not. I did not plan to be in business at all. Mm-hmm. I had my interest in art and communication. So I actually wanted to be a photographer when I started the college.
Oh, wow. So I know you grew up in Bangkok, Thailand. How did you end up at BU? And what was your time like there?
Prior to BU, I studied my high school in Sydney, Australia. I planned to continue my bachelor degree in Sydney, but my brother and sisters were in Boston at that time. So my brother persuaded me to go over and study in the U.S. So I did. I went to Boston and also applied for BU as his recommendation. When I started at BU, it was very interesting because I chose the degree which at that time it was School of Management. So I met a lot of friends and, international friends. I think that was like the place where I met the most international friends. And I met so many interesting people and professors and also classes there.
That's great. You come from a big BU family. That's wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit more about your BU experience? How did your Questrom education shape who you became as a professional now?
I have to really thank to BU for shaping who I am today because I think the curriculum and the education system that BU has provided is very much different from what I would have got if I were studying in Thailand. The class that I took, freshman and sophomore class, mostly were, some of them were lectures, but starting from sophomore year onward, many classes were actually, it involved a lot of group meetings and also a project, which allow us to really interact with people and being in the real world of how you have to work in teams. When I joined the school, I have to admit that my English was not very good. And, being an international student and also coming from the country where English is not our native language, I struggled a lot. And when I have to work in a team, group meetings and all that, I really had a hard time. But for being in that position, it required that I have to work harder and I have to find my way to survive. I think it was a good time that I have to use a lot of my instincts and also try to get the best of my strength. If I was not good in English, then, what are the skills that I could be helpful to our team? So that was something that I really had to search it for myself. And a second thing that I really like being in the School of Management or Questrom today is that, every classes required a participation. In an Asian country, we could really live by being in the class, sitting there quietly throughout, the whole semester.
Right.
But at BU, it's really difficult that, you cannot be there and be quiet. In terms of the class that I remember, for example, I think I like the statistics class. The part that I liked is when we took the exam, we were allowed to bring in the calculator. In Asian countries, we're not allowed to bring calculator.
Right.
I think it's a real world, when we cannot rely on memory or, working on papers anymore. When we work in the real world, we have to be able to use tools.
It's wonderful to hear that you had a very wonderful memories of BU. Why did you decide to move back to Bangkok after graduation?
After I graduated from BU, I got a job offered in Thailand. And, thanks to BU, because I got this job to the BU Career Center. That office, I like it a lot because at my junior year, I went there and looked for internships. So I got some apprenticeship to work at Merrill Lynch from the School Career Center. And so when at my senior year, I also went to this career center and looked for the job. And they have some kind of, I think, career or job fair where companies would come and interview students. So I went to interview with AIG company back then. So they accepted me, and I told them that, I prefer to work in my home country, which is Bangkok, Thailand. So they kind of transferred this to me. So when I came back to Thailand, I, continued working for AIG in Thailand immediately. So it was really helpful for that.
That's great. So I saw from your LinkedIn profile that you worked in many different banks. You obviously had a very successful career of 20 years after BU. So it will be very helpful for our audience, both alumni and students, to a little bit learn about, what drives you, what is your motivation.
Being in this industry, I enjoyed it because I think banking is a very backbone to every country's economy. So if you stick to the backbone, not only that what you do will benefit yourself, you also benefit the whole country. Now that I'm in one of the big banks in Thailand, and given that, I have a bigger role and more responsibility, things that we do really could change the whole industry. For example, the bank and the whole industry would like to move into digital. So, we should really be the samples, or could be the leading companies, to show them that what kind of data-driven business we can do to improve the whole country's efficiency and improve on the financial inclusion, and also helping people to the rising middle-aged people to get more fund in order that they could start up their business and they could become the future millionaire. So this is something that I really enjoy.
Phonpimol, I really like the way how you framed banking being a backbone to a country's economy, and you've been working in consumer finance for the past 20 years. What are the characteristics that you feel are needed in consumer finance or banking in order to be successful?
Most people think that, working for a bank, you must be very good in finance, very good in math. But it's not necessary. My finance grade is average. I didn't top class in that one. But what is necessary is business sense. I think, we should be able to see things in perspective. A lot of people may have very good ideas, but delivering it, communication is also very important. So this is a skill that I learned from BU, from having to participate in class. Never think that your idea is too stupid. So you always say something that you think it might make sense. Or if it doesn't make sense, it would be at a point where other people could link and make a better sense from your initiation issues. And another thing that is very important is on when you see things in perspective, you have the idea and you be able to communicate it, then you need to get people to work with you. So having a teamwork spirit, and also thinking of making this happen, not just by yourself, but making it the whole team to enjoy and delivering it together is also very important. Because if you can only do things by ourselves, the task can be done, but it will never be impactful. So having the team spirit is also very, very important. And this is just the idea of how we could work. But the most important thing is probably your attitude. I think we always have the positive outlook of what we do, and we should always have the determination. Never give up. If you think something that is really meaningful and it could be, it challenge you, take the challenge and try to pursue it and try it in many ways, very scientifically approach, do a test, do an observation, learn from your mistake and try it again. So it's something that will keep you going. You never give up until, things will never stop until you give up. Yeah.
Hey BU, a quick break here to tell you about another resource provided by the Alumni Career Team. Each year we host dozens of webinars aimed at providing professional development or highlighting industry insiders through 1-hour presentations by alumni experts and thought leaders in their field. In the coming weeks, we'll feature topics like the future of finance, hottest career trends for the 2020s, and motivating your next move from just a job to a career you'll love. To register for an upcoming webinar, visit bu.edu/alumni/webinars. And on the same page, you'll find a comprehensive on-demand library of past presentations.
So we have lots of alumni working in banking and consumer finance, but what really interests our audience is that you are working in finance in Bangkok, Thailand. What do other BU alumni need to know about that industry in your city?
Nowadays, I think many banks in Thailand, they start to see that if they continue to enjoy, the business that they have done in the past, it may not get them to the future. So they are changing the way that they work. For example, bringing in more agilities, agile work group, the new way of working into the environment of the new bank, and also deploying a lot of digital tools, and also the mindset and the thinking, and also a lot of startup mind concepts exist in the big bank. So this is what I think that I could actually add a lot of value to the bank. And, most importantly is not only technology is important, but also the talent. People tend to look for the new generation who want to, bringing in their new thoughts and skills to the bank. So it's the era of fighting to find the right talent. And I think, most BU graduates and alumni, if they come back to Thailand, they wouldn't have a problem with that because we are already well trained.
Wonderful. So I'm going to shift gears and I want to ask you about your community leadership. I know you're chairing for Asian Alumni Business Forum 2019. Thank you very much for your leadership and commitment. I wanted to ask you about your volunteer leadership in Thailand.
I think I feel very honored to be part of the alumni community in Thailand because in Thailand, the BU Boston University alumni in Thailand, right now we have over 1,000 people. And it has been generations after generations. The first few generations the earlier generation who started at BU, it happened to be people from a very notable and highly respected family in Thailand. So Thai people, many people find that if they study in Boston, they actually have the privilege of studying in the land where the king was born. So we have a big community in Thailand, over about 1,000, like I mentioned, and I am the 13th president of the Boston University Alumni Association in Thailand. We register this alumni very formally in Thailand, and it has been run very professionally with a lot of respectable advisors in Thailand. And I think this year, we are very honored to be the host of the BU Asian Alumni Forum 2019.
That's wonderful. So, Phonpimol, what advice do you have for current students and non-Thai alumni who wants to work in banking in Bangkok or Thailand? I remember that you've been mentioning about, like your BU experience being a non-native speaker when you first came to BU, but you did your best and and became a very successful and had a very successful life in Boston. Do you have any advice for current students or for non-Thai alums who do not speak the language to be successful in banking or consumer finance in Thailand?
Yeah, certainly. I think, most non-Thai people who come to work in Thailand, they would love being here. Many expats, when they were sent to work in Thailand, and when they finish their term and go back, many of them, I found them that they were crying because they miss the country so much.
Right.
I think, they would have no problem to adjust their life in Thailand. Thailand is a very beautiful city, beautiful country, and also we have a lot of cities. Bangkok is it's the capital, and it's the most crowded and very, it has many kind of entertainment and also business and also cultural experience that could offer to you. You can do a lot of shopping. You can eat a lot of Thai food, and there are beaches only 1 hour close by. You also have a nightlife, the nighttime street shopping and all that. And also the cost of living in Thailand is so cheap. I mean, you could live by just having less than $10,000 live in a month. So, $1,000 you can also live in Bangkok or in Thailand very easily. And for the advice for the career, and if they would like to work in consumer finance in Thailand, many Thai people, they may not speak English very fluently, but they will understand English because English is part of the education. It's also in the curriculum for all the students in Thailand. So maybe they don't reply to you immediately, but if you write to them or let them read the letters in English, I think in the office, white collars, they would not have problems to communicate with you. And they tend to be very nice to, we call it sarang. Sarang is like non-Thai. So Thai people really enjoy working with the non-Thai people. We give you a lot of smiles, big smiles, like we are the land of smiles. And the opportunity here is also huge. Thailand is located, it's almost like in the center of Asia. We're neighboring with Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, and also neighbor with Malaysia. Close to that is Singapore. So in the center is that, with these countries I mentioned, you can travel within just an hour flight or an hour and a half flight. So it's very easy to travel around. And many countries is still, they still rely very much on Thailand for example, like, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam, because their countries are it's not as developed yet, and some of them are growing very fast. So we are still working very closely. So you will find that many international companies, a head office is actually based in Thailand to take care of these neighboring countries. And not to mention that, Singapore is also very close by. Hong Kong is close by. So we are the center of Indochina. Working here has huge opportunities that, you can learn and also to offer.
Great advice. It seems Bangkok and Thailand is a wonderful place to work for our students and all alumni from Boston and elsewhere. Phonpimol, thank you so much for carving out your time for us today. It's been great talking to you, and thank you very much for chairing the Asian Alumni Business Forum 2019.
Great, yes. We are looking forward to having this BU Asian Alumni Business Forum in November month. The date is 1st of November to the 3rd of November. So it will be a great weekend. And we also invited a lot of guest speakers who are mostly the BU alumni who have been very successful in Thailand to share about the social innovation and also, being a good leader for the next sustainability futures for that business. It's at the time that we cannot miss. Not only that the Thai people, the Thai alumni will meet each other, and also the non-Thai will come meet the Thai, and network with the Thai people or among themselves. So this is a very special time. I'm very looking forward to that.
Fantastic. I personally very much looking forward to the business forum in November. So thank you again, Phonpimol, and this was wonderful talking to you.
Thank you very much, Yuna.
Many thanks once again to Phonpimol for being my guest on Proud to Be You, and for all the work she does on behalf of the alumni community in Thailand and beyond.
Great job, Yuna, and I'd also like to extend my thanks to Phonpimol. It sounds like the Asian Alumni Business Forum will be a fantastic event. Best of luck to you both. On behalf of everyone on the BU Alumni Relations team, thanks so much for listening to Proud to Be You. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you find your episodes. I'm Jeff Murphy, and no matter where your path takes you, be proud to be you. The Proud to Be You podcast is produced by Boston University Alumni Relations. Our theme is from Jump and APM Music. To learn more about Proud to Be You, visit bu.edu/alumni/podcast.